Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. So we have just started the 13th chapter. The 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is called the kṣhetra-kṣhetrajña vibhaga yoga. The discernment, the yoga of the discernment of the field and the field knower. The field and the field knower. We did just two verses, the first two verses, which are very, very important. You can chant it with me if you like. I'll chant and you can follow. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhagavan Uvacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram Ityabhidhiyate Kshetram Ityabhidhiyate Etadyo Vettitam Praho Etadyo Vettitam Praho Kshetra-jñaṁ iti tadvidaha Kshetra-jñaṁ iti tadvidaha Kshetra-jñaṁ chāpi mām viddhi Kshetra-jñaṁ chāpi mām viddhi sarva-kṣhetreṣhu bhārata sarva-kṣhetreṣhu bhārata kṣhetra-kṣhetrajñayor jñānaṁ kṣhetra-kṣhetrajñayor jñānaṁ yattaj-jñānaṁ mataṁ mama yattaj-jñānaṁ mataṁ mama. The Blessed Lord said, this body, O son of Kunti, is called the kshetra, the field. And that which is conscious of it, or which is aware of it, which knows it, is called the kshetrajña, the knower of the field. Who is it called? Who calls this? Says those who are masters of this knowledge. And then in the second verse, he goes on to say, and know the embodied self in all beings, the kshetrajña in all beings, in all bodies, kshetras, to be myself, O prince of the Bharata clan, that I am the knower of the field in all these fields. This knowledge of the Ksetra and Ksetrajna is, in my opinion, true knowledge. So these are the two verses. Why are they so important? And what are we going to do about it now? So as Shankaracharya, last time I mentioned, I'm going to spend some time, a couple of classes maybe, we will talk about what Adi Shankaracharya, in his masterful commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, what he has said about this verse. He has written an extensive commentary, the longest commentary of any verse, especially the second verse, the one we just read now, the longest commentary of any verse in the whole Bhagavad Gita, the second verse. In the big book, that is Shankara's commentary, Shankara Bhashya, I was counting 12 pages. 12 pages for this one verse, the second verse. So what has he said there? Why is it so important? What he does there, he raises many questions, delves deep into it, and it might get pretty subtle and difficult, but the point there is, it clarifies our understanding of non-duality, of Advaita Vedanta. He takes this opportunity, these two verses, to teach and clarify what non-duality is. What does it mean? Shankara's commentary, I will read just parts of it. I won't read through it line by line, just parts of it. The first sentence he says, don't bother about the Sanskrit, I'm reading it for my benefit and for those of you who want to hear Shankara's language. I remember the way I got started on this, on reading the commentary, was when I was a novice, a brahmachari. One of the senior monks asked me, when we were discussing this, he asked me, you haven't read Shankara in the original? I said, no, I keep looking at translations because I think it must be difficult, read Shankaracharya's own writings must be difficult. He said, on the contrary, Shankara's Sanskrit is one of the simplest. Let's remember, he was a teenager when he was writing this. He was a kid. So Shankara's Sanskrit is one of the simplest, most direct. So try it yourself, you'll start to understand. Of course, you have to know some Sanskrit to understand it. And I did try it, and I did understand it. And I came to love reading Shankara directly. So, some of Shankara's own language, one of his sub-commentators, Vachaspati Mishra, praises Shankara's expression, his language, his writing as prasanna gambhira. Very bright. Prasanna is bright, lucid, luminous, but gambhira is deep and profound. Both very, very open, simple, direct, and yet it runs very deep. So we'll see. The first sentence he writes is, kṣhetra-jñaṁ yathokta lakshanam chāpi mām parameshwaram asamsārinam viddhi jānīhi. What does it mean? Knower of the field. Remember, this is the commentary on the second verse. So, knower of the field, as has been explained, know that to be me, the Supreme Lord, God, who is transcendental. That's it. It basically seems to be a paraphrase of the second, the first line of the second verse. What did Krishna say? Kshetragyam chāpi mām viddhi sarva-kṣhetreṣhu bhārata. O Bharata, O Arjuna, know me to be the knower of the field in all these fields. In each field, there is a knower of the field. But all of these fields, there is only actually one knower of the field. Contrary to what one might feel. It's counterintuitive. One might feel that every body has a separate sentient being. That's what we feel like. There are so many people here, we feel that. And Krishna flat out contradicts that. He said, if you really know what's going on here in depth, there's only one being here, one consciousness. And I am that, ultimately. Practically, of course, we are many people. And Shankara simply seems to repeat that. He says, Yatokta Lakshanam, as has been indicated. What do you mean, as has been indicated? For this, we have to go back to the first verse. The first verse, what did it say? Krishna said, in all these bodies, there is a knower of the body. The body is called the field, and the knower of the body is called the knower of the field. The conscious being who is aware of this body. That's us. That's where it begins. Because that's how we feel, If we really look at ourselves right now, we'll feel like I am this embodied self. I am this conscious being in this body. I am in some sense this body also, but also I'm not literally bones and skin and hair. It's something conscious about me, something aware about me, sentient about me. That's what we think. Now, he uses this idea of the knower of the body as a lever to discern the real nature of the self from the apparent self, from what we seem to be with what we truly are. Discern, I said, because the analysis which I will just quickly summarize what we did last time, the analysis. It seems like we are separating ourselves from the body-mind. But the idea is not to separate ourselves from the body-mind. Remember, Vedanta is it does not teach difference. It ultimately aims to teach oneness. So what it is doing is, this method which I will recapitulate quickly, it is making us discern, understand who or what we truly are. What we think we are to what we truly are. What we think we are is this, I am this conscious being in this mind, and this mind, this body, this awareness, this bundle is what I think I am. I was born at such and such time, and I have been aging, and I guess I will die at some point. This is my life story. I am this sentient being, this human being, this aware being. There's a word for it in Sanskrit, jiva. Jiva, a sentient being. That's what I think I am. And that's the meaning of Kshetrajña. That's the direct meaning of Kshetrajña, knower of the field. But then remember the whole process we went through last time. The knower of something is different from what it knows. So if you are aware of something, you are different from what you are aware of. The simple example which we took up last time was the eye which sees is distinct from what it sees. So I can see whatever I can see in this room, all those things are different from the eye. The seer and the seen are different. The knower and the known, the subject and the object. The knower of the field and the field must be two different entities. Simple enough. Then we went a little more deeper. Remember, we considered the eye itself. Am I aware of the eyes? Am I conscious? Do I know that my eyes are open, eyes are closed, eyes are itching, I need glasses, things like that? Yes, we are conscious. Especially when you go to the eye doctor. They will tell you. So we are conscious of it. If we are conscious of it, if you are aware of it, then I, the one who is aware of my eyes, I cannot literally be the eyes themselves. So we know, I know the mind is aware of the eyes, and the mind and the eyes are different. Eyes are this kind of sense organ. The mind is whatever it is, a thinking instrument or thinking entity. So it's different from the sense organ called the eyes. That's clear enough. Then we consider and not only that, the mind is aware of not only the eyes, it's aware of the ears and the nose and the entire body, in fact. Then we consider the mind itself. Are we aware of the contents of the mind? Can we know the thoughts that we have, the feelings that we have? Of course, you say. Of course, we are aware of our own feelings. If it hurts, I feel it. It hurts. That's the meaning of the sentence. It hurts. It's ridiculous to say that it hurts, but I don't know it. It's self-contradictory. If it hurts, I know it. Of course, the first thing that I know is, ouch, it hurts. So if I know the contents of the mind, then a remarkable thing, using that lever, knower of the field, the mind also becomes the field. It is known. Then the knower of the field, you who are aware of the contents of your own mind, you cannot be literally the mind. We are not minds. There are minds. We are not bodies. There are bodies. But we are that which is aware of the mind-body complex. And we operate through the mind-body complex. But this is what Swami Ranganathananda used to call Vedantic thought bomb. He drops a thought bomb on us that we are not these bodies and minds. I remember reading 2013, there was a nice article in the Wall Street Journal, the man who brought yoga to the West. And it's Swami Vivekananda. It was about Swami Vivekananda. And then the journalist writes that all those enthusiasts who are stretching in their yoga pants might be today surprised to know Vivekananda saying, you are not bodies. The whole yoga here is stretch, bend. It's good, but you are not bodies. And they might be even more surprised and mystified to know that he taught, you are not minds. Why not? Here, the knower is different from the known. Clearly you know, you experience your own bodies and minds. Therefore, you are not the body, not the mind. We are not bodies. We are not even minds. We are not physical entities in reality, at the bottom. We are not physical entities. We are not even mental beings, contrary to what without question, we assume. What is it that we assume without any question, without any hesitation? We are persons. What's a person? Basically a thinking, feeling, emotional being, intellectual, emotional being in a body, in a physical body. That's what we think a person is. And now we are seeing, not only being told, we are seeing for ourselves. It's possible that in a certain sense, I am not literally the body or the mind. The body is there, the mind is there, but I'm not literally the body. No more than if I wear a cloth, I'm not the cloth. And if I wear inside this cloth a shirt, I'm not the shirt. Similarly, the body and mind are like physical covering and a mental covering to the conscious being which I am, the being of awareness, the knower of the field. He just calls it the knower of the field. And then the consequent, the implications. If I am not one thing, then the characteristics of that thing are not my characteristics. Let me repeat. The characteristics of something belong to it. If I am not X, then the properties of X are not my properties. So X, the body, it ages, it's born, it ages, it deteriorates, it dies. That's the actual meaning of the word, Sanskrit word sharira. That which ages, deteriorates, and perishes. Very positive. Now, if those are the properties of the body, but if I'm not the body, then they are not my properties. Being born and aging and deteriorating and dying cannot be my properties. And they are properties of the body. Going through ups and downs, terribly unhappy, depressed, enthusiastic, eager, joyful, waking, dreaming, sleeping. These are all characteristics of the mind. If I'm not the mind, then being frustrated, unhappy, depressed, excited, tense, angry, all of those are not my properties. They're properties of the mind. I mentioned that monk who put it so nicely in Hindi. What is Vedanta? How do you apply Vedanta? Jo cheez jahan ka hai Mahatma ji, usko wahin rehne do. Keep things where they belong. Don't misplace things. Pain, yes, pain is there, but not yours. Where is the pain? Pain is in the body. Unhappiness, frustration, yes, you're not going to deny it. You felt it. If you felt it, you are the knower of the frustration in the mind. It belongs in the mind. Let it stay in the mind. It's not you. You are aware of it. No more than if you are aware of a very frustrated character, unhappy character, depressed character coming on the movie screen. You are not that. You are aware of it. You even sympathize with it, but you are not it. You were there before it. You were there watching it. You are there after it. Similarly, all feelings, emotions, good or bad, pleasant, unpleasant, you are the watcher of that. And even further, the whole of the waking experience, the whole of the dream experience, the whole of the deep sleep experience, and again the waking, all are mind. You are the ever awake watcher, witness of waking, dreaming, deep sleep. You are that waker who knows no sleep. You said, oh Swami, you don't know me. Like that little boy who got a math problem in his class, arithmetic problem in his class. Tell me, if your dad borrows $10 and then he returns $5, how many more dollars does he have to return? How many more dollars will he return? And the little boy said, none. And the teacher said, what? You just don't know basic arithmetic? And the boy immediately said, you don't know my dad. Yeah. And more updated New York version of that. The little boy was given this thing, that Tim has $1 and then his mom gives him one more dollar. How much does he have? And the boy bursts out laughing, $2? He's broke. Tim is broke. He's a very New York kid. So they belong to the body, the whole waking, dreaming, deep sleep. You are the unsleeping, unwinking observer, illuminer. Observer in the sense not that you are some little person sitting in the mind and watching everything. You are just that light in which this whole thing takes place. That's what we are. The Aurobindo, when he got his enlightenment, his breakthrough experience, he speaks of the glare, the white glare of an immortal eye, he says, an immortal gaze, the world drowned in an immortal gaze. What is that immortal gaze? It's not even your gaze. You are that gaze. We are that immortal light. And that's the conclusion of the first verse. All of this is the first verse. You are the knower of the field. The body is the field and you are the knower. What about the world? And that's also the field. But particularly this body, because with the world we have no confusion. At no point do I say, I see the table and I am the table. I never say that. thank God. But I always say, I see the body. I see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. Every one of the 5 organs, sense organs, operates on the body. But I say this very strange thing. I am this body. I mean, I don't say it out loud. I just say, I claim, this is who I am. What's this? It is I. Who are you? What are you? I am this. And we not only say it, we behave accordingly, and we feel that's what we are. So this is a way of investigating, discerning what we are truly. It seems like you are being separated from body mind, but the point is to see that we are the witness, the consciousness in which we experience ourselves as minds and bodies, as mental and physical. Is this enough for enlightenment? And Shankaracharya asks this question before the second verse begins. He says, is this enough for enlightenment? Shankaracharya says, no. And Krishna, that's why Krishna goes on to the second verse. And you remember the questions which Krishna answers with the second verse. The two big questions, dramatically answered. That how many knowers of the field are there? Yes, all right, I am consciousness, and I'm not the body, not the mind. But then there are so many bodies here, and presumably so many minds. So there must be so many consciousnesses. That's one question. How many are there? And the second one is, what about God? You haven't mentioned God here yet. So the triangular worldview of all religions, theistic religions, the world, sentient beings like us, and God. God, world, and individual being. Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat. So what about God? You have been talking about, this is not the self. The world is the field, world, body, these are field, and I am the knower of the field. Okay, got it. But what about God? You haven't mentioned God yet. And Krishna answers both of these questions in half a verse. Kṣhetra-jñaṁ chāpi mām viddhi sarva-kṣhetreṣhu bhārata. Know me alone to be the knower, the consciousness in all these bodies and minds. There's only one consciousness. Consciousness is that singular which does not have a plural. Who said it? It said Krishna. No. I'm quoting Heisenberg. Consciousness is that singular which does not have a plural. Krishna here says, that singular, that one consciousness in all bodies and minds, I am. There's only one consciousness, and that I am. What about this world? If you followed so far, what he has done is, he has shown us that we are consciousness, we are not the body, not the mind. Now, in one sense, then we have differentiated ourselves from mind and body and the world. So the world is not the self, the body is not the self, the mind is not the self. The self is I just existence consciousness, being awareness, isness, shiningness, let's say. This is who I am. Then what about these minds? What about the body? What about this entire vast world? Vedanta will say, because Brahman, God, that one consciousness with the power of Maya projects this world. Brahman or God is supposed to be the cause and the world is supposed to be the effect. That which is the cause, it itself appears as the effect in another form. In Sanskrit, Karana and Karya. The clay itself appears as the pot. The wood itself appears as this table. Wood is the material cause of the table. And when you make the table, where is the wood? Here. Touch wood. When you make a potter makes a pot out of clay, where is the clay? And there itself, in the pot. So if God has made the universe out of himself, herself, itself, where is God then? Here itself. Here in this universe, right here. So therefore, according to Vedanta, this world which you have separated from ourselves as the field is actually none other than that pure consciousness. It's appearing as this field. It is projected from this field. But then you add to this idea that pure consciousness, Brahman, Atman, whatever, that cannot change. That is not subject to modification. But this world is continuously changing from the Big Bang to today. In individual cases, this body, from birth to middle age to old age and death, everything is changing in this world. Nothing is at rest. And yet we say, it must be nothing other than God stuff, what is this world is made of. But then also you are stipulating You means the Upanishads and in fact every religion, that God cannot change. God is beyond limitations. God is beyond modification. God is beyond, increase and decrease. In that case, put them together. God is the God or Brahman. We use the term Brahman. Brahman is the cause of this universe. Karana in Sanskrit. The universe is the effect, the product of Brahman. Karya in Sanskrit. But Brahman cannot change, and this universe is continuously changing. So the only way that this continuously changing, imperfect, being born, changing, dying universe, the only way it could be God, it could be Brahman, is it has to be an appearance of Brahman. It can't literally be a changing Brahman. And with all its evil and impurities and wars and destruction and so on and so forth. How can, if you say literally this is God, the pantheistic, those who are interested in philosophy, the pantheistic idea, the problem with pantheism, pantheism says everything here is God. Chairs, tables, people, ants, stars and planets and quarks and quasars, all are just God. It sounds good, but it immediately runs headlong into huge problems. Because this is a world infected with change. It's a world infected with impurity, disease, death, evil. Cannot run away from the fact that there is serious evil here. Now, if this is literally God, then first of all, what use is such a God who has become this awful world? Second, a simpler, more direct objection to the pantheistic conception is that what you're doing in pantheism, you're just taking this universe and giving it a new name, God. You're not telling us anything new. You're just saying, yes, these people, tables, chairs, planet, stars, dogs and cats and earthquakes and whatnot. Whatever you see as world, yes, that's God. What new thing have you said? You've just used a new term for it. You haven't shown me anything new or greater or better, not even a new idea, just called it God. So this idea will not fly. What Krishna is saying, what Vedanta says is, this universe is an appearance of the ultimate reality. The reality is Brahman, the appearance thereof is this universe. This is the great doctrine in Advaita Vedanta of Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Brahman is the reality, world is an appearance of that reality. All of this, what I just said, till now, Shankaracharya said in 3 or 4 words. Kṣhetra-jñaṁ yathokta lakshanam, as has been discussed. That knower of the field. He says, Paramesh mām chāpi mām parameshvaram asamsārinam viddhi. Know that to be me, God. Because I have said, I am all of them. But he adds here a word, asamsārinam, transcendent, beyond samsara. Crucial point. I will try to extract from it what is meant here. To put it straight away, those who understand Vedanta, those who have been studying Vedanta, what he has just said is, this statement of Krishna, Kshetragyam chāpi mām viddhi sarva-kṣhetreṣhu Bharata, know me to be the knower of the field in all fields. He has just said, Shankaracharya has just said that this is a Mahavakya. Great statements of identity. I am Brahman. You are that. This is the meaning. How so? Parameshwaram asamsārinam. A transcendent God, but in my transcendent nature. What is the transcendent nature of God, of Brahman? Nirguna Brahman, pure consciousness. Satchidananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. Then, if you say, is there a samsari version of God? Can God be samsari? We understand as jivas, we are involved in this world, implicated in this world. Samsari. Can God be samsari? What is meant by asamsarinam is God in its Brahman in its nature as pure being, pure consciousness, pure bliss. Satchidananda. Otherwise, God involved with samsara is God plus Maya, Brahman plus Maya. Saguna Brahman. The distinction between Brahman with attributes, Brahman without attributes. Let me put it in another way. What was done in the first verse? We were shown that I am not the body, not the mind. And why I am not the body and mind, all the discussions were done last time. He just says, as discussed. So I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the witness consciousness, I am Sakshi, witness consciousness, I am pure awareness. And exactly the same thing has to be done to God. As we reconstructed ourselves, I am not the physical body, I am not the subtle body, I am not the causal body. Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharira, Vyatirikta Atma in Sanskrit. The witness self distinct from the causal, subtle and physical bodies. Again, I am not talking metaphysical gobbledygook, this physical body, this is the public one, which everybody can see. This is the physical body. The subtle body is what we experience right now, all of us, nothing esoteric about it. When we look inside, when we turn our attention inside, we feel emotions, ideas, memories, sense of ego. All of that is the subtle body. It includes the mental sheath, the intellect sheath, the pranic sheath, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, all of these, it's called the subtle body. And you can divide further. Upanishads talk about 19 aspects or parts of the subtle body. But it's all talking about something that we are experiencing right now. Nothing very fancy about it. It's just fact. Just like this body, similarly a subtle body. And the causal body seems even more strange, but it's basically a seed form of the subtle body, which we also experience every night when we fall asleep. When we go into a state of where subject and object are merged into one blankness. That's the subtle body, a causal body. Apart from the causal body, apart from the subtle body, apart from the physical body, as the witness of the causal, subtle and physical bodies, I am the Atman, the consciousness, then what is called knower of the field. Similarly, do the same thing with God. God also has a physical body, a subtle body and a causal body. What is the physical body of God? 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This universe, the cosmos. Vishwarupa Darshana, 11th chapter. The cosmic experience, the cosmic vision of God. This cosmos is the physical body of God. What is the subtle body of God? The cosmic mind. You say the Hiranyagarbha level, cosmic mind. All minds put together, all subtle bodies put together, all the vital energies, all our thoughts, ideas, feelings, knowledge, all of it put together is called the cosmic mind, of which our minds are little bubbles in an ocean. And the causal body of God. What is the causal body of God? The causal body of God, anyone? Ishvara is God. What's the causal body? Brahman is God, Saguna Brahman. Somebody was saying it. Maya, yes. Maya. Those who have done Vedanta Sara, they know this framework. It's a kind of framework that has been sort of set up in post-Shankara Advaita. Consciousness plus one causal body, Ajnana, Vyashti Ajnana, is what we are in deep sleep. The same consciousness, Chaitanya, with one causal body and one subtle body, is what we are in our dreams. The same consciousness with one causal body, one subtle body and one physical body. Don't look mystified. I'm just talking about you right now. What are you? You are that limitless consciousness, apparently limited by one causal body, one subtle body and one physical body. Here. And what is God? The same consciousness, pure consciousness, limited by the totality of all causal bodies, Maya, and more than that also. Limited by further all minds, universe-wide web of minds, like World Wide Web, www, like that, is the causal, the subtle body of God, and the physical cosmos. That is the physical body of God. Remember, at the end of the cycle of creation, the physical body and subtle body all merge back into the causal body. It's like deep sleep for God. And then again it emerges when a new universe is created. So this is the cosmology. And if you take God to be just consciousness, quite apart from the cosmos, quite apart from all the cosmic mind, quite apart from Maya, just consciousness itself. Just like you are taking yourself to be just consciousness itself. then what happens? Just consciousness itself on this side, your side, and just consciousness itself, God's side, they are one and the same thing. That's what Krishna means by saying, know me to be the one consciousness in all beings. All of this, one word, Parameshwaram asamsarinam viddhi. Deconstruct God, set God free from the limiting adjuncts, these are called in Sanskrit upadhis, of the cosmic body, cosmic mind and cosmic causal body, and see that God is Satchidananda or Chaitanya, let's say pure consciousness. Set yourself free from the constricting limits of one body, one mind and one causal body, and see yourself as limitless consciousness, Chaitanya. Those two are one and the same. Those two are one and the same. This is the meaning of the second verse. This is the meaning of the second verse. Second time I'm explaining the whole thing. Third time, one more time. These are all different ways of putting it. This time I will put it from the Vedanta Sara, or the analysis of the great sentence, Mahavakya. Inquiry into the Mahavakya, what is the meaning of the great sentence? Now, this will make sense to only those who have studied Vedanta Sara or Mahavakya in some forum, in some course. Remember, we talked about two kinds of meaning. Direct meaning and implied meaning. Vachyartha lakshyartha in Sanskrit. Vachyartha lakshyartha. Direct meaning or the dictionary meaning, and the way we normally use it, and the implied meaning. Now, when he says, Krishna says, kṣhetra-jñaṁ, the knower of the field. In all bodies there's knower of the field. The direct meaning of it is exactly what we take ourselves to be right now. When I say you, when we talk about a person, what does that person take himself or herself to be? Take yourself as the whole thing, as this body and the personality, the mind, and yes, if you insist, consciousness also. So consciousness, mind, body, all of it together is the direct meaning of the term kshetrajña, knower of the field. And the implied meaning in Sanskrit, lakshyartha, which is arrived at after the analysis, the whole analysis which we did, the implied meaning is pure consciousness. And when you come to Parameshwara, Paramatma, Ishvara, Bhagavan, Saguna Brahman, all of them mean the same thing. God. When you come to that, the direct meaning of this term, Saguna Brahman, Paramatma, the direct meaning would be, direct meaning of the word Brahman, for example, would be God. Pure consciousness plus Maya, which is the creator, preserver, destroyer of this entire universe. And the vachyartha, the lakshyartha, the implied meaning of that would be consciousness itself. Quite apart from this universe, cosmic mind, and quite apart from Maya, just pure consciousness itself, Satchidananda, Chaitanya. And therefore, the implied meaning of Kshetrajña, that's where the Jiva and Ishvara become one. That's where Krishna can say, I am the one consciousness in all. Am I Krishna? Yes, implied meaning. Direct meaning, I means Sarvapriyananda, this guy. No, you're not Krishna. Not at all. This may seem a little difficult to wrap our minds around, but those who have studied Vedanta, it's just straightforward analysis of the Mahavakya, the great sentences. All right. So what it means? Kshetrajñam yathokta lakshanam mam chāpi mam parameshwaram asamsarinam viddhi. Know the knower of the field as discussed. As discussed means pure consciousness. Parameshwaram asamsarinam. God transcendent. God transcendent means pure consciousness. To be the same. You are Brahman. That's the meaning. Now there is one more little addition here. Very interesting addition. What one might call a cute addition, but very important also. This is not done by Shankaracharya. It's done by a sub-commentator called Anandagiri. As a monk who did not comment on the Gita, but he wrote commentaries on Shankaracharya's commentaries. So whatever Shankaracharya explained, he explained it further. So he has got extensive commentaries on Shankara's commentaries. What he does with this, the word also, if you literally see what Krishna said, Kshetrajña, the knower of the field, God is also the knower of the field. Krishna is saying, I, God, am also the knower of the field. If you put it that way. If you add that also with kshetra, if you leave it where it stands, that can create serious trouble. Listen to this sentence. I, God, am also you. Also you means? That means other than you. Yes, not only you, O Arjuna, but him and all of them, but also these animals and elephants and horses and in the battlefield. And yes, and also the whole insentient universe, they are all me. They are all parts of me. What is it beginning to sound like? Vishishtadvaita, qualified monism of Ramanujacharya, So there is one organic unity in this entire universe, which is God. God is also you, and him, and her, and all of this, and the chairs and tables. They are also, all of that is God. That's not what Advaita Vedanta wants to say. Advaita Vedanta wants to say there is only pure consciousness, and you are that pure consciousness. So, Anandagiri says, this also should be connected to Mām. Kṣhetra-jñaṁ chāpi viddhi. You should know. The first verse, what did you know? I am not the body, not mind, I am pure consciousness. In the second verse, what do you know? You are, this pure consciousness is Brahman also. So therefore, Jiva and Brahman, the sentient being and God, in their transcendent nature, are one and the same thing. So the identity, Tattvamasi, you are that. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. It works when you shift the also to the to connect it with Mām, with me, with God. Can you do that? You can. In Sanskrit, it's open. You can connect these with any one of the terms. So this is a subtle point, but very important point. If you have also on this side, it becomes qualified monism. If you have also on that side, it becomes non-dualism. So that's the point that Anandagiri raises. Moving on. Then Shankaracharya goes on. sarva-kṣhetreṣhu yah kṣhetra-jñaṁ brahmādi stambha-paryanta aneka kṣhetra upadhi prabhivaktaha tam nirasta sarva upadhi bhedam sadasadadi shabda pratyaya agocharam viddhi iti abhiprāyah. What's the point that Krishna wants to make? Abhiprāya, purport. The point that Krishna wants to make. Shankaracharya says, in all these fields, what are all these fields? He says, brahmādi stambha-paryanta aneka kṣhetra. From the highest God, small g God, Brahma, all the gods in the heavens and all the heavenly beings and earthly beings like us and hellish beings and whoever there is in this universe, and this is also in all these beings, as if divided. Upadhi krita, he says, aneka upadhi prabhivakta, as if divided by the presence of these bodies and minds. Just like if you have lots of pots, small pot, big pot, thin pot, round pot, all of those, if you put them, and then you look at the space seems to be affected by the pot. More space is included in this pot, less space in that spot. That's not true at all. Because space is undivided by the pot. Space is one undivided space. Similarly, by the presence of bodies, see, this is what a beautiful way of putting it. By the presence of these bodies and mind, by the field, by the presence of these fields. Field includes physical body, subtle body, causal body. Because of the presence of these fields, that one consciousness appears to have been divided into millions and billions of sentient beings. All of us. We are one reality. What an amazing thought. But we seem to have been divided into 100, into 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000. And you take all kinds of living beings, from the tiniest to the largest, all of us. This division is because of the body, physical body, subtle body, causal body. Apparently. It's not a real division. Just like space cannot be divided by, making lots of pots. It just seems to be like that. Similarly, consciousness cannot be divided, no matter how many bodies and minds you generate. They just seem to be different. But then you can have a lot of fun. You can have samsara. You can have this world, beautiful world of ours, with all its huge, wonderful things and even more terrible things. All of that can happen. One consciousness by itself couldn't do it. But one consciousness projecting itself as so many, in so many bodies and minds, as billions of entities, can have a roaring good time of it. So, Brahmadi Stamba Paryanta, from Brahma, the highest God, to Stamba. So in Sanskrit, the two words, Stamba and Stambha. So, if you don't know Sanskrit, there's no problem. If you know Sanskrit, it might cause confusion. For a long time, I used to think he means from Brahma down to a pillar. Stambha means pillar. But that's not what Stambha means. Stamba, the word, means the tiniest, most insignificant living creature. Often it means a blade of grass. From the amazing, tremendous, great God, Brahma, God means cosmology, not Brahman, to a tiny blade of grass. All of them are actually that one limitless consciousness, appearing to be many. And the many are not equal. Some are extraordinarily powerful, amazing, full of power and intelligence, and some are, look at human beings. They seem to be very different. Some are tremendously talented, some are very intelligent, some are very dynamic, successful, some are maybe physically ill, mentally incapacitated, some are so many varieties among us. And what a message of Vedanta. We are all one limitless spiritual being. Doesn't matter what we are at the physical level. Doesn't matter what we are at that mental level. That does not touch our spiritual nature. We are all one being and one limitless, absolutely perfect being. At the level of manifestation, these manifestations keep changing. That's the game we are playing. What a tremendous... And then he goes on to say, Nirasta sarva upadi bhedam. But what is this one pure consciousness if you let go of all bodies, minds? By itself, what is it? By itself, that ultimate reality. Brahman, Atman, whatever you call it, knower of the field. What is it exactly? He says, Sadasadati adi shabdaya pratyaya agocharam viddhi. You cannot apply any description to it. It's beyond language. Sadasad means, here in this context, literally it means existing and non-existing. But literally in this context it means cause and effect, manifest, unmanifest. Effect, this world. Cause, God with Maya. So the world is manifest, the cause of this world is unmanifest, is invisible to us. Neither is that cause the real nature of Brahman, nor is this effect the real nature of Brahman. The ultimate reality, what we truly are, you cannot describe it in terms of manifest, unmanifest, cause, effect. No. It's beyond our language. It's useless to talk about it. No, it is you. It cannot be described, known by any mind, any linguistic description. Then what's the point? Point is, it's you. You know yourself. You know that you are. But not in the sense of describing it in language or theories or, or binding it in concepts. Beyond that. Then he goes on to say, this is knowledge. Krishna says, this is real knowledge. Shankaracharya backs it up. He says here, this is true knowledge. What is this true knowledge? After all, here he says, Yasmat kṣhetra-kṣhetrajña ishvara yathatmya vyatirekena na jnana gocharam anyat avashishtam asti. Other than the knowledge of this universe, of you and God, Jiva Jagat Ishvara, that's the triangle, that's the paradigm which all these religions have, that there is this world, the not self, other than you. And there is the self, you, and there is some power behind it all, God. So knowledge, real knowledge would be what? The real nature of God, the real nature of this universe, and the real nature of myself. That's real knowledge. I'll repeat that. What is real knowledge, ultimate knowledge, final, you really know what's going on here. If you knew who you are, what all this is, and what God is, if you knew all of that. And this is where it has been shown that you are this pure consciousness. And that pure consciousness alone is God. And this universe is a projection of that pure consciousness, nothing but that pure consciousness. Now you know it. Now you know it. And he says, this is knowledge. Krishna says, this is real knowledge. Everything else is a limitation of this knowledge. If you know the world as an object by investigating it part by part, that's science. If you know about other worlds and what happens after death, heaven and God, that's religion. If you investigate the body carefully, meticulously, that's medical knowledge of the physical body. If you do analysis of the mind and its various problems and prospects, that is psychology. But underlying all of that, all of this is an appearance of one underlying reality, a spiritual reality, which Vedanta says you are. So this is the greatest knowledge that there is. This is the saving knowledge. This is the final knowledge. What more could be there? What more can be there beyond the final oneness, identity? It shows you in what sense this world, you and God are one reality. In what sense? It clarifies this. He says, there is nothing left to know. What else is there left to know? Yes, but I want to, that particular, why that cell behaves in that way in the liver. I want to know that. That you get your NIH grant and do research and find out, you'll get some understanding of it. Isn't that knowledge? Yes, of course it is knowledge. It's not denying it. That's relative knowledge. And that's useful. That's certainly useful. But this is deeper. And this is like final. After knowing this also you can go, somebody said, after knowing this, can I pursue science? Of course you can. You can pursue science, you can pursue art, you can pursue religion. And why can? You should. We are, so next Tuesday you will meet a most remarkable monk. He is he's a monk of our order, but he's also a leading mathematician. So he does both. He comes to these places. He's now in Toronto. He's going to come to New York tomorrow in the night. And he's going to give talks on topology. But I said that, see, you're coming here, you have to give a talk on spirituality also. So we have this class on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna on Tuesday. So you have to give this talk on that. And he said, I was afraid of this, but he finally he agreed. So I asked him once, the traditional Advaitic idea of science and everything else that's done in the world, engineering and medicine and everything, it's all part of the transactional world, the relative world, and it's all right, it works there. But only Advaita Vedanta gives you knowledge of this real knowledge, what Krishna just said. This is ultimate knowledge. The realization that I am this limitless consciousness, which appears as this individual being, as this world, and as God also. So only Advaita Vedanta tells you that. And he told me, no. Notice, your Advaita Vedanta is also very much part of the relative world. That's, after all, this is where we are, in this relative world. And if this can form a bridge between you here and that ultimate reality, Brahman, then it's possible to build a bridge between the relative world and Brahman. After all, there are not two worlds. There's only one reality. So he says, one day even, who knows, science may develop to the point where we can actually get insights into ultimate reality. Why not? So he does both, spirituality and science, mathematics for him. But it could be anything for you. All right. Now and then he says, Tad jñānaṁ samyak jñānaṁ. This is complete knowledge, final knowledge, ultimate knowledge. Iti mataṁ. This is my purport. This is the point I wanted to make. Who is saying this? Krishna is saying this. And Shankaracharya explains, Mama, whose point? Who is saying this? Mama Ishwarasya Vishnoho. For me, Ishvara, Vishnu, God, Saguna Brahman. Let us not forget who is speaking. Shankara reminds us. Who is speaking in the Bhagavad Gita? God is speaking to man. One of our Swamis, Swami Bhaskareshwaranandaji, who was in Ramakrishna Math, Nagpur in India. So I've seen the notes made by the monks when he would teach the Gita. So in the first class, when he would start teaching the Bhagavad Gita, he would make some important observations. One of those observations, I still remember, One of those observations was, when you are studying the Bhagavad Gita, never forget who is speaking. Not a pandit, not a spiritual teacher, not a philosopher. It is God, incarnation of God, Krishna, who is speaking. So with all the reverence we would have if God manifested right now before us and told us, this is good for you. Listen to this carefully, absorb it and practice it in your life. With what great reverence we would receive and keep that knowledge. Listen to these classes that way. That Swami used to say. And I have seen the notes taken down. This is decades ago. Actually nearly a century ago now. So those young monks used to write this down. Beautiful. At the very beginning of the course, he would say, remember, throughout the course, whom are you listening to? You're not listening to some random monk. You're not listening to some philosopher, some pandit, some scholar, some spiritual person. Not even that. You're listening to Sri Krishna himself. Beautiful points. I mean, those really touches you. Another point he would make, I'm talking about that Swami, and I found it in those notes written nearly a century ago. Another point he would make is, whenever you listen to these talks on Gita or any spiritual teaching, there's a Sanskrit word, prayojanam, my need, my benefit. Why am I here? He says, keep this prayojanam vibrating within you. I'm here because I need this. He's talking to a group of monks. You have given up everything in the world. Why? Why are you sitting here? Because this is why. So imagine how alert we would be to listen to these teachings. It's like nectar-like words. There's such pleasing words, such inspiring words, such life-giving words. They make this the pillar to which you hold yours. So in such a way, he would inspire the students for the ensuing course on Bhagavad Gita. All right. Before I wrap up, let me just read the next part. This is Shankaracharya's explanation of the 2 verses. Done. Explanation finished. The next 12 pages filled with dense arguments. All of it is questions being raised. There are a lot of people who listen to this, and they come from various philosophical schools, and they have various objections to this. They say, not so fast. What is it called? I'm going to rain on your parade. Your non-dualistic parade, I'm going to rain on it. So Shankaracharya will raise questions and then he will answer them. What's the point? Why should we dive into these subtle arguments which we will follow now? It's because they will clarify our understanding of Advaita. There is a metaphor used in Sanskrit, stuna nikandana nyaya. A pole, when you're going to drive it into the ground, like a pillar or a beam or a pole, and you drive it into the ground, what do? You drive it in, you shake it and take it out a little bit and then drive it in deeper. That shaking it little as if you're trying to take it out a little more. Why do you take it out a little more? In order to drive it deeper. Why do you teach something and then raise skeptical doubts and questions and objections to it? To drive it in deeper. That's what he's going to do. I'm going to raise the question here and then stop, so that you are eager to know the answers. When he raises the question, he will feel that, yeah, that's right, all of this was wrong. It's all silliness, nonsense. And the questions are powerful. He raises a question. I'll read it out and translate. Nanu sarva-kṣhetreṣhu eka eva ishvara na anya tad vyatirikta bhokta vidyate chet. If you are claiming that in all fields there is only one knower of the field, and there is only this one Ishvara, one God, one consciousness, other than that there is no other sentient being, nothing separate from God, nothing separate from pure consciousness. If you're saying that, then you are inviting a world of trouble for yourself. Listen. He says, Tataha, in that case, Ishvarasya samsaritvam praptam. In that case, God will become a samsari, will become a sentient. If God is one with me, I am this miserable creature. God becomes infected with the world then. Or, Ishvara vyatirikena va samsarinaha anyasya abhavat samsara abhavat prasanga. Or, if you say that God does not become a samsari, in that case, and you are saying that there is no samsari, no sentient being apart from God, then there is no one in samsara. Then there is no samsara at all. Okay, then what will happen? Tatcha ubhayanishtam. Both options are unacceptable. Either you are reducing God to the status of an ordinary mortal, or you are saying there's only God exists and no mortal exists. Both are unacceptable. Why? Bandha moksha tadhetu shastra anarthakya prasanga. He says, in that case, all of spirituality, including your precious Gita, Upanishad, Vedanta, they all become meaningless nonsense. If you are God, do you need any Vedanta? Does God need Vedanta? Does God need to meditate? Does God need to do karma yoga? No. Then all these teachings, whom are they meant for? If I am God, clearly I don't need these teachings. So what is the point of all religion and spirituality then? Shastra anarthakya prasanga. All scriptures become meaningless in that case. Nonsense. And then pratyakshadi pramana virodhacha. And what you are saying finally, completely, most important, completely contradicts our experience. See, this is why we object to Advaita Vedanta. My direct experience is I am this little fellow, no matter what you say. Limitless consciousness, whole world is an appearance. Who knows, sounds nice, but I still have to face Lincoln Tunnel traffic going back to home in New Jersey. Or I have to go back in the subway right now after this and face, what's tomorrow? Saturday. Saturday's good. But then Monday is coming up soon. So, pratyaksha virodha, it directly runs contrary. Your non-dualism directly runs contrary to my direct daily experience. Every day's experience is this world. You are denying it all. Then he explains further. Pratyakshena tavat sukha dukkha tad hetu lakshana samsara upalabhyate. Direct experience shows me a world full of pain and suffering, and yes, pleasure seeking and some amount of pleasure also. Sukha dukkha lakshana. And that is produced by samsara. A world exists out there. That's what's giving me pain and pleasure and all of that. And logically also, Jagat Vaichitriyat, because of this tremendous diversity in the world. Somebody is doing very well in life, somebody is utterly miserable, somebody is very healthy, somebody is dying of sickness, some are born rich, some struggle in poverty, some are born with perfect health and tremendous mental power, and others are born with a crippled body and a retarded brain. Why? Now, in Vedanta, you don't attribute this to God, because if you attribute this to God, God will become what is called Vaishamya dosha, will become infected with the defect of partiality. God is not responsible for our sufferings. Indirectly, yes, but directly, no. Directly, what is responsible? Karma. So he says, Jagat Vaichitra Upalabdhe, when you see the diversity of life experiences in this world, Jagat, Dharma Dharma Nimitta Samsara Anumiyate, a samsara born of karma, good and evil, is inferred. So, the law of karma is to be inferred here. This tremendous diversity, not due to God. Ups and downs, not due to God. It's due to karma. Karma means good karma and bad karma. What is good karma? When you deliberately make an effort, when we try to make an effort to be moral, ethical, it's called dharma. When we deliberately are mischievous, naughty, it's called adharma. The result of dharma is good karma. In Sanskrit, punya, merit. And the result of this merit is sukha, happiness, pleasure, worldly kind, the ordinary kind of happiness. And also otherworldly, heavenly kind of happiness. And the result of adharma, mischief, is papa, demerit, sin. And the result of sin is unhappiness, dukkha. So, now you know. When you grumble, why is this so bad? So, our mixture of good and bad which we get are the results of our past karma. So this is general, the basic, the simple version of the law of karma. Which is then the very fact that we are experiencing the diversity leads us to infer there must be some causal factor behind these diversities. You can't attribute partiality to God, who is supposed to be perfect and generally a very nice guy. So you cannot attribute it to God. So it must be karma. It must be good and bad karma. That means samsara is there. There are sentient beings. How? Karma doesn't float in the air. There are sentient beings who are struggling in life, going up and down in life, becoming better, becoming worse, and going through this cycle. So there is samsara. for all of these reasons. Basically, he has given four major, if you split up these objections, four major objections. If you say that Krishna alone is all the conscious beings, is one consciousness everywhere, then you are saying God is a sentient being like me, an individual being subject to samsara, imperfection. God is no longer God. That's one option. If you say, no, God is perfect and we are all one with God, then we are not sentient beings. We are one with God. We are perfect consciousness. There is no sentient being left in this universe. Then this universe, the samsara, wouldn't exist. Third, all your Vedanta becomes useless. Every spiritual teaching becomes useless if you hold on to this absurd doctrine of non-duality. Fourth, most important, it just runs contrary to my daily experience. Four powerful objections. And Shankara's answer is cryptic. Of only one phrase he says. He says, no, nope. I summarily reject all of your objections. Why? Please explain. Jnana jñānayo anyattvena upapattehe. Because there is a difference between knowledge and ignorance. The effects of knowledge and the effects of ignorance. And that will explain all of it. What do you mean? We'll see. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.